Want to pass your real estate exam? Well, let's get with it and review national and Texas state questions. They're all combined. For anybody watching the replay, the class is designed to allow students to participate. So fast forward if you're watching the replay. And all those on here today, remember to type your question number and the answer, and I will help you through it. For some reason, you get it incorrect. And this is Wild Lily Handy coming to you from San Antonio, Texas. Woohoo! With YouTube AgentPrep. All right, so we're continuing with the same questions on the same book. Not the same questions. I mean, the questions in this book and the national and the state are mixed in together. So here we go. And remember, ask questions during the class, and I'll do my best to answer them correctly. And keep an eye on me, because sometimes I skip questions of some of you that have been here multiple times with me, have experienced. Okay, let's have some fun. All right, the loan to value, okay, loan to value. Okay, so it deals with lenders. Ratio is used as an underwriting mechanism because A, the LTV, that's what it stands for, loan to value, LTV, determines the profitability of your loan. B, the loan amount needs to be less than the property's value. C, borrowers tend to inflate the true value of the property. Or D, a full price loan overfinances the borrower. So type your answer in the chat. So what is the loan to value? It's used on underwriting mechanism. So loan amount to property value, not listing price, but offer price. And of course, lenders loan only a certain percentage of the value, unless it's a VA loan. They can loan up to 100%, right? Because those loans are guaranteed by the Veterans Administration. Come on, type your answer in the chat. There's a few of you on here. Don't be shy. All right, good evening, Cindy. Welcome back, Carter. Okay, so I have I'm going to disappoint you. It is not A. Hi, Tanya. I heard the right pronunciation of your name, Tanya. I was going to say Tanya, but that would be with an O, right? Tanya Thomas. The answer is actually B. Okay, the loan to value does not determine the profitability of the loan. Okay, it's usually profitability of a property, right? Not the loan. It is the loan amount that needs to be less than the property's value, unless it's a 100% loan. So it ends up having to appraise. Okay, at the purchase price, at the offer price, it needs to appraise at that. And so if it is an 80-20 loan, meaning lender is going to loan 80% of the contract price, then the buyer is going to bring in 20%. Well, it needs to appraise. It can appraise the offer price or greater, but at least the offer price, so the lender can, protect themselves, right? And only loan 80%. If it's a 95%, then 95% of the loan value, which would be at the time the purchase price of the property. Okay. And this happens with, when we're doing contracts, unless an owner wants to refinance a property, okay, they're still going to get an appraisal of the property to make sure that they can offer a certain percentage that they will refinance that property. So when market goes up, and the property values go up, individuals have equity and they will end up refinancing their loan, especially if the interest rate is lower or they want to take some cash out. So they're called cash out refinance. Oh, I should write on here, type on here, Texas state exam has national and state questions mixed in. On your actual exam, you'll actually have them separate, right? You'll have, for those taking the exam in Texas, you're going to have the Texas exam for the national exam first, and then the Texas, or they're not combined. On here, they are. So thank you for watching on YouTube, y'all. I appreciate it. All right, number 50. Ooh, I guess I should type the answer on. So do y'all get that as to why it's not loan to value determines profitability of the loan? No. If anything's going to be profitable, it's going to be a property, not a loan. All right, number 52. So be careful what you're thinking of when answering the questions, because it asks loan to value ratio is used as an underwriting mechanism. Yes, because the lender is, when the buyer applies for a loan, okay, they've got to prove their credibility, okay, that they can afford it. So the underwriters are going to see, first what the creditor's credit history, what their income is, what their expenses are, if they have any other loans, any other debts. Then they will take an appraisal. And then the last thing is the survey. So those three different things have to apply. It is B. Hi, Lisbeth. Okay. S51B. I think I also typed it in. Oh my gosh, I thought I was typing it. S51B. Yeah, I did type it, but I typed it together with Texas Real Estate Exam. Okay, so anybody who just came in, we're doing Texas Real Estate Exam, and the questions are mixed, okay? It's not national first or Texas first. It's all mixed in. So 21B. 51B. 52. In the past, borrowers were often surprised by unexpected or undisclosed borrowing fees and expenses at closing. Okay, surprised by unexpected. I wonder why that was. This phenomenon has been largely corrected through disclosure requirements mandated by which of the following laws? A, Equal Credit Opportunity Act. B, Truth in Lending laws. C, National Disclosure Procedures Act. Or D, Fair Housing laws, federal fair housing laws. Type your answer in the chat. So I went showing houses today, which we thought we were going to write an offer, but we look at the age of the house so that we know about the roof. Heating and air may have to get replaced. So it's kind of fun, however, we evaluate a property together with a buyer and provide, our experience. Hi, Anai. Thanks for joining us. All right. So the answer is B. Yes, all of you are correct. Very good. Truth in Lending laws. And they'll be called TILA, right? Truth in Lending Act. TILA is the acronym. So remember those acronyms. So it's a law, but the act is called TILA, Truth in Lending Act. All right, number 53. Moving right along. Which of the following is an important function of the secondary mortgage market? Okay, secondary mortgage market. A, participants borrow funds from banks so the banks can make more money. B, participants issue tax certificates and sell them to primary lenders. C, participants purchase pool of defaulted loans from lenders to keep them solvent. Or D, participants sell mortgage-backed securities in order to buy pools of loans. Type your answer in the chat. Be careful, okay? So what is a secondary mortgage market? The primary is the one that actually loans to the consumer, okay? They get their funds from somewhere else. So depending on whether it's a bank or if it's a mortgage broker. So participants borrow funds from banks, participants issue tax certificates to sell them, participants purchase pool of defaulted loans from lenders, or participants sell mortgage-backed securities in order to buy pools of loans. Yet the answer is actually D. Okay, and the reason C is not, because it says defaulted loans. So it's not the defaulted loans. Yes, they could buy them, okay, from the banks, but they're actually buying mortgage-backed securities that then provides more funding for the primary lenders. Okay. So when the secondary market, mortgage market buys them, sometimes they buy them at a discount from the lenders, because the lenders don't want to keep them in their inventory. They want to be able to have more cash to loan. So participants could be banks, okay, the primary lenders, selling mortgage-backed securities, okay, promissory notes, deed of trust, in other states, mortgages, in order to buy pools of loans. So you've got the secondary mortgage that will buy, okay, lots. And some of them can be major, large investors that will buy a pool of loans. So they're basically buying the promissory note, okay, the deed of trust. So a lot of individuals not necessarily buying the residences, the homes, they buy paper, okay? And those are promissory notes, deed of trust, or promissory notes. And sometimes if you've owned a home, like my loan was recently sold, so it was sold to another bank, and it could be a bigger bank or an investing bank. So now I had it with a mortgage broker. So the mortgage broker deals with a lot of different banks. And so larger banks can buy pools of loans, okay, securities from from mortgage brokers and smaller banks. So it is not just defaulted loans, okay? There are some investors, okay, that will buy some of the defaulted loans, but that's not what the secondary market. So go back and review vocabulary for secondary mortgage market. Okay. Number 54. Cash flow is a measure of how much pre-tax or after-tax cash an investment property generates. So cash flow, money coming in, that's what we want to have. That's why individuals have investment properties, is a measure of how much pre-tax or after-tax cash an investment property generates. So to derive cash flow, it is therefore necessary to exclude A, cost recovery expense, B, interest expense, C, loan principal payments, or D, net operating income. So when you have investment properties, right, that individuals invest in real estate, they buy investments because they want to generate more cash when they buy and sell. or when they buy and hold, right, then they have some tax shelters. And that's cash flow, prior to taxes. And then after they have their write-offs, including depreciation, then they'll have after-tax cash. The answer is A, cost recovery expense. So to derive cash flow, it is therefore necessary to exclude cost recovery expense, because interest expense is a write-off. They've got a loan principal payments. Okay, however, the principal payment is not an expense, but it's part of it, can create cash flow, and not net operating income. So you've got your income coming in minus all the expenses, including interest expense, and then they have the net operating income. That is what will be taxed. All the other things will become a tax shelter and a write-off. A cost recovery is if you have to repair the property. So that is not considered an after-tax or pre-tax cash. So very good. So let's see. Carlos. Hi, Carlos. Thanks for joining us. Oh, interest expense is not just a cash flow. So the cash flow is after all the expenses and, the tax shelters and the depreciation. So the cash flow is what's coming in every month. Okay. So you've got your pre-tax cash, and that's before the taxes are paid, right? Or deducted. And then you have your after-tax cash. So you can have your pre-tax cash flow, right, and you'll use it. But at the end of the year or next year, you'll be paying taxes, right, on part of that pre-tax money, because it hasn't been taxed. So if you invest it into also an IRA, you get another tax shelter. But that eventually will get taxed, depending on whether it's a Roth IRA, which is after-tax money, or a traditional IRA that's before tax money. That one will get taxed when you withdraw it. The Roth doesn't, because taxes have already been paid. I typed the right answer. Yes, A, B. Okay. So only Carlos missed that one, but I hope you understand that it's to derive cash flow, we have to exclude cost recovery expense. So the way the definition says it is the cash flow is the difference between the amount of actual cash flowing into the investment, like all the rental as revenue, and out of the investment for expenses, debt service, and all other items, right? So cash flow concerns cash items only, and therefore excludes depreciation, cost recovery, which is not a cash expense. The depreciation is at tax shelter. It's a write-off. Okay, it's not the cash you're having right now. Number 55. Okay. The method of deriving an investor's return on investment, or ROI, that's what it stands for, is by A, dividing net operating income by cash flow, B, multiplying the required yield times after-tax cash flow, C, dividing net income by the price paid for the property, or multiplying cash flow times the price paid for the property. So return on investment. So if you invested 500,000, how much are you getting back is like cash flow after everything is paid. So what is your return on that investment? All right, so far I've got C. Be very careful with the word operating. So normally we will just call it net income. And then we have operating expenses. There's a difference. Keep those separately. So the cash flow is eventually the net income. So you're not dividing that by the cash flow. So the answer here is C, dividing net income, the income after all expenses, not the principal, okay, not depreciation, okay, that's done at tax returns, by the price paid for the property. So go back and look at definitions for return on investment and vocabulary and the formula. So net income divided by the price paid. That is the return on investment. So as you can see, that's why I point out, time to go back to vocabulary, time to go back out to vocabulary, because there's a lot of vocabulary involved in the questions. Okay, number 56. Which of the following, okay, items would affect a homeowner's adjusted basis? Homeowner's adjusted basis. First, you need to know what is the basis. And then you have an adjusted. What would cost an adjustment on the basis? A, installing a high-capacity air conditioning and purifying system. B, replacing a washing machine. C, stripping and staining hardwood floors. Or D, replacing a broken picture window. So which one would affect the adjusted basis? So which one would be an improvement to the property, to the home, to the homeowner? Even though it might have one already, but you're doing something better. Answer in the chat. No, it is not C. Okay, on C, you're just stripping and staining. You didn't improve the hardwood floors by replacing them. Okay, the washing machine, that doesn't improve the value of a home. Remember, the washing machine is a fixture that is not permanent. Okay, so that is personal property, right? A lot of people that sell their homes, they keep the washing machine and the washer. So that is personal property. It doesn't improve the value of a home. Now it's a tool for negotiating, okay, when dealing with an offer and a contract. So it's either A or D, okay, and it's not D. You're replacing a picture window, okay. So on A, you're installing, what does it say? Higher capacity air conditioning and purifying system. That adds value to a property. If you have an old low capacity air condition and you don't have a system to purify it, you're increasing the adjusted basis. The adjusted basis is the price that a home owner paid for a property. And then any improvements, okay, that they make on that property increases the adjusted basis, the purchase property basis, because it increases the value. So a broken window, no, it already has a window. You're just replacing the glass, okay? Washing machine, personal property. Hardwood floors, stripping and staining, that's just elbow grease, okay? You're just maintaining the floors, okay? Y'all get it? So let's see. Tanya and Carlos had A and Lisbeth. So very good. So C and D are basically just maintaining the home. And keep in mind, a washing machine is personal property. Okay. Sound like a broken record? Well, yeah, sometimes we need to, right? In order to really understand. Number 57. Which of the following, okay, is true with respect to real property taxation by the federal government? A, it imposes ad valorem property taxes and capital gain tax. B, it may not impose property taxes or tax liens. C, there are no federal ad valorem taxes on real property. Or D, it imposes ad valorem tax, but not capital gain tax. So are property taxes federal, or do they have to do with county, city? Think about that. That's what you should ask about. Type your answer on the chat. So far, we've got C and D. It is not D. The answer is C. Okay. The federal government, there are no federal ad valorem taxes on real property. Property taxes are by the county that we live in, where the property is located. The government, okay, the IRS does charge capital gain tax for investment properties. Okay. So federal government property taxes are county, not federal. So if it was federal, can you imagine the tax rate would be the same for everybody? Okay. But the tax rate is different based on, the county, the growth on there, the improvements, the infrastructure, streets, schools. So every county has different rates. Okay, good. Tax liens, those can be property tax liens, right? And that's by the county, or they can be tax liens by IRS. Those would be federal tax liens, right? So it says here, it may not impose property taxes. So it doesn't impose property taxes, but it could for IRS tax liens. Okay, for IRS is federal. And there's also, in certain states, they pay federal and state taxes. Like when I was in Oregon, we had both. So y'all get that? So the answer was C. There are no federal ad valorem taxes on real property. Go back and review vocabulary on ad valorem taxes. Who charges those? Who imposes those? The county. Okay. Okay. What are we on? 58. Oh. All right, number 58. Ad valorem taxes are based on A, the replacement value of the property, the assessed value of the property, the millage value of property, or D, the broker's estimate of value. Oh, it's not D, okay? It has nothing to do with the broker's estimate. All right, doing good. Yes, the answer is B, the assessed value of the property, right? The county tax assessor, okay, reviews every property and comes up with the assessed value for the taxes that'll be imposed on that property. And taxes seem to go up and up. However, they can be protested every year. Property owners receive a letter offering them to schedule an appointment to protest their taxes. And realtors can help homeowners by providing comparables. And then the homeowner has to provide information about whether they believe their property has not increased in value compared to the neighbors, and they haven't done any improvements to it. Gee. So a person has to justify why not their property taxes should be increased, okay, why they should stay the same or given a little bit of a discount. So I used to help individuals do that. I would volunteer. All right, number 59. I used to think it was a scary thing to do, so I wouldn't want to protest mine. But once I volunteered to help other people, sometimes we help others better than we help ourselves. Then I learned the process. And it's not so bad. Even individuals that do not use a realtor, they go and justify it and prove it themselves. And they'll take pictures of their property outside and inside and the neighbors. All right, number 59. A retirement facility prohibits ownership of any unit by persons under 55 years of age. The association claims it has made the prohibition properly. Which of the following is true? A, they are violating the Civil Rights Act of 1866. B, they are violating the Fair Housing Amendments of 1988. They are guilty of age discrimination. The prohibition may be legal if performed correctly. So I hope that a lot of you are aware that there are 55 plus communities, right? Because some older individuals don't want to be around children and they want to be around others their age. It is not B, Anai. So yes, the rest of you are correct. It is D. The prohibition may be legal if performed correctly. So they can't just say, oh, I'm a 55 plus community, you're not welcomed here. Then they'd be violating the fair housing laws, right? Fair Housing Amendment. However, when they apply for it properly, they have to go through a certain process. And if they're approved, then they will be given that 55 and plus community legally, okay? Certification or rights. A lot of times there are communities that have HOA, Seems like that's going to be a long answer. All right, number 60. So hope you got that, Anai. Number 60. An owner suddenly pulls a property off the market after hearing from the agents on the phone that the agents had received a full price offer from a minority party. The agent then informs the offeror that the home has been removed from the market and is unavailable. Which party or parties, if any, have violated fair housing laws? A, the agent only. B, the owner only. C, the agent and the owner. Or D, neither agent nor owner. Okay, so far I have C by Lisbeth. Who else? Come on, there's a whole bunch of you. See, a lot of these questions here, are national. However, the Texas state will be mixed in. So I also invited the national students to the class. I just can't necessarily separate every single one. All right, so give you another moment because there's quite a few of you on here. So anybody who just joined the live, we're doing a Texas real estate exam, a sample exam. However, there are lots of national questions within it. They're not separate like I do it on other sessions. So it would still behoove you to stay in the class. Yes, the answer is C, the agent and the owner, right? They both violated the fair housing laws. All right. Number 61. Y'all are doing pretty good tonight. No questions, no questions. Nope. All is well. Okay. 61. Which of the following are examples of closing items not prorated between buyer and seller? So this is a national question. A, taxes. B, inspection fees. C, utilities. D, condominium assessment. So which of the following are examples of closing items not prorated between buyer and seller? So there are certain fees that are prorated. It is not D. Okay, because condominium assessments are prorated if the seller hasn't paid their monthly dues. Okay, because those are monthly dues assessments, HOA fees that are assessed, but they will still have property taxes that'll be prorated. And if it's a rental, that type of thing. So the one that is not prorated, utilities can be prorated depending on what type of property is being sold between the buyer and the seller. Let's say it's a rental, okay? And the seller has already paid for all the utilities, okay? And they're selling it in the middle of the month. So then that will be prorated between the buyer and the seller. You know, trash pickup, that's part of the condominium assessment. So the one that is not is the B, inspection fees. The inspection, home inspection, is for a buyer's purpose. Now, the buyer may ask the seller to pay for it when they're asking for buyer-seller costs, a buyer's closing costs, okay, which we're now in that market. We've become more and more of a buyer's market, and there's more properties available and not enough demand. Because why? The interest rates. So the inspections can be a home inspection, roof inspection, AC inspection, foundation inspection. If there's out in the country, they could have a septic tank, they could have a well. All those inspections are for the purpose of the buyer knowing what they're buying, what the condition of the items of the home and those items are. Electrical inspection, plumbing inspection, there could be sometimes a lot, because the home inspector does an overall house inspection, and then that inspector will point out if they recommend a more intense inspection of the roof or the AC or in foundations, right? And then other inspectors will be brought in specializing on that particular thing. So do y'all get it? So taxes, prorated, utilities can be prorated, condominium assessments can be prorated, right? It could be property tax assessments, right, for condominium. So careful on the terms. So in your prep book, you probably have a list of types of the debits and credits, okay, that are on the settlement statement or called the closing disclosure. On there, it'll explain which items get prorated. So go look that up in the vocabulary for closing items or prorated items. Review a closing disclosure settlement statement. Okay, where are we at? Number 62. Okay, y'all got that? All right, number 62. Which of the following activities is not allowed under the Real Estate Settlements and Procedures Act, known as RESPA? So we're dealing with the settlement statement, right? A closing disclosure. If it's cash, it's HUD. Okay, so A, a broker having any business relationship with an insurance company that is involved in the broker's transaction. B, a broker pre-qualifying a buyer for a mortgage loan. C, a lender requiring a deposit from the buyer for a tax and insurance escrow account. Or D, a lender paying a fee to a broker for referring a borrower to the lender. So which one is not allowed under RESPA, Real Estate Settlements Procedures Act? Okay, so far I've got D by Cindy. Come on, who else? Don't be shy. This is the time to type your answer. Take the risk. It's better to take the risk than not. Because if you get it wrong, it's okay. Now you know what you've got to practice and study and learn. It is not A. The answer is D. A lender paying a fee to a broker for referring a borrower to the lender. Okay, that's not allowed in the Real Estate Settlements and Procedures Act. A broker having business relationship with an insurance company that is involved with a broker's transaction. Yeah, that broker could recommend 3 different insurance agencies, okay, to the client. A broker pre-qualifying a buyer for a mortgage loan. That could be a mortgage broker. It could be a real estate broker. Okay, we could verbally pre-qualify them. Okay, we're not pre-approving them. Pre-qualifying, just asking questions to see if they might be a valid buyer to go to a lender. We don't want to send every single buyer to a lender. Some just may not have money saved, a terrible credit score. We can find those things by asking questions. So in real estate, we ask a lot of questions. C, a lender requiring a deposit from a borrower for tax and insurance escrow account. Yes, okay. That's the escrow account, like a little savings account. So let's see, most of you answered D, so very good. So did you get that, Lisbeth? Brokers and insurance companies can have relationships. They're not talking about any, referral fee. Now, when we recommend a vendor, it's good for us to recommend 3 and let the buyer choose. Sometimes buyers are really nervous and they really want help. We'll give them the names, the phone numbers, and who we've worked with and have experience, and let them know, hey, it's best for you to evaluate them and see who you connect with, because that's where you're going to be doing business with in the future and today. So that's part of our job, to refer vendors to our clients, except not to steer them always to one particular vendor. Okay, we have to provide options, because who we might think is best may not be best for them. And there are many companies now that have affiliations, and therefore we have to disclose that we have an affiliation. Like I have an affiliation with Amazon. So when you click on one of my links to purchase a book, Amazon will pay me a commission. Doesn't charge you anymore, doesn't cost you anymore. And if you purchase anything else within 24 hours after you press that link, okay, I get a commission. Therefore, I have a disclosure, okay, that those links on there on the books will be paying me a commission. So we disclose it. Once we disclose it and the buyer and the seller know, then it's okay if that vendor is going to pay us a affiliation fee. Okay, good. You understood it. Number 63. Which of the following communication records must, okay, must, as opposed to shoulda, coulda, woulda, be kept? So which ones must be kept? A, notes on every conversation. B, copies of required communication to principals. C, notes from company training sessions. Or D, business cards of licensees one meets at open houses. So which ones must be kept? This one is a must. Okay, so far I have B, 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 B. Way to go. And yes, the answer is B. Copies of required communications to principals. So in addition to the documentation that we keep for 4 years in Texas, other states may be different. In Oregon, it was 6 years. We also keep communication. And nowadays, a lot of it is via text messages, emails, so we have communication logs where we can type things or save them on, a notepad on the internet, right? And keep them in our records with that file. And why would you think that is? Because there's a statute of limitation that a person, a client that we had an agency relationship has up to 4 years to file a complaint with the Texas Real Estate Commission. They can't just file it anytime. It's within the statute of limitations. All right, number 64. So everybody got that one right. Yes. Oh, just in case I didn't show it, here we go. Okay, 64. To minimize the risk of violating fair housing laws, a licensee should do what? A, refuse to use terms that refer to or describe any of the classes of persons protected by the laws. B, avoid working in neighborhoods that are predominantly occupied by a single ethnic group. C, make discriminatory or derogatory remarks in conversations only, never in writing. Or D, give better service to members of a protected class that is standard for other clients or customers. If your answer in the chat. Y'all having a challenge, or there's a delay? I know, like 10 seconds between the time you type something or that I also type in Facebook, StreamYard, YouTube. All right, so far we have A. Anybody else? Yes, the answer is A. To refuse to use terms that refer to or describe any of the classes of persons protected by the law. So we don't use them, we won't have an issue. Number 65. Ooh, not too much. Gosh, I had it and lost it. There we go. What are tenant improvements? A, modifications to a rental suite to conform to a tenant uses specifications. B, marketing programs that yield a higher quality of tenants. C, increased revenue resulting from a rise in rental rates. Or D, increased occupancy resulting from a population increase in the market area. So what are tenant improvements? Okay, tenant improvements. All right, moving right along. So far, we've got A. Anybody else? A. Give you another moment. Come on, more of you. There's quite a few of you on here. Yes, the answer is A. Modifications to a rental suite to conform to a tenant's usage specifications. Could be a handicapped person, or anything else that the tenant may request that the landlord is willing to do. Some are required by law, others are not. Okay, number 66. So I already typed that. For the proper handling of client and owner monies, a property manager is generally required to do what? A, deposit all funds every month in the management firm's central operating amount. B, employ a notary or witness and record every deposit or payment they receive. C, maintain a special trust account in the qualified financial depository. Or C, D, disclose all funds to their legal owners on a weekly basis. Your answer in the chat. No, it is not A, and I will explain why. So take another attempt. While you do that, I'm going to take a sip of water. Yes, it is C. Maintain a special trust account in a qualified financial depository, right? Anytime there's a property manager or company managing properties, or a real estate company that takes in monies, clients' monies, then there has to be a special trust account in a qualified financial depository. And A, look at what A says. Deposit all funds every month in the management firm's central operating account. No, you're commingling. Okay, because it says firm's central operating account. That's their operating expense account. Their money coming in and money going out. Okay, and if it was a trust account, okay, for clients, it has to be deposited within 2 business days. So keep that note in your mind. For trust accounts or business accounts for clients, that a broker or property management, they have to be deposited within 2 business days. Now, on a real estate contract, it'll say deliver the earnest money to the escrow officer, which could be a title company or it could be an attorney, within 3 days. Yes, okay, you read it wrong. Understand. That's happened to me during class. Let me tell you, oh boy. So it is maintain a special trust account in a qualified bank, financial depository. And if it's when they get monies, they have to deposit it within 2 business days. Okay. Number 67. Jennifer advised her clients, they needed to paint their living room before showing the property. The walls of these rooms were all 8 foot high. The wall lengths were 14 foot, 18 foot, 16 feet, and 18 feet. If a gallon of paint covers 200 square feet, how many whole gallons would the home seller have to buy? Okay, so the wall lengths were 14 foot, 18 foot, 16 foot, and 18 feet. But the room height was all 8 feet. So how much paint do you need for 200 square feet? How many gallons do you need for 200 square feet? If 1 gallon paints 200 square feet. So multiple steps, okay, on here to calculate. Okay, they all have the same height, but you have 4 different walls, right? They're painting their living room before showing the property. So the living room has walls of 4 different height. The wall lengths, widths, 14 feet, 18 feet, 16 feet, 18 feet. So it means it has 4 different walls, right? So, okay, so far I've got 67 CC. Anybody else? Y'all calculated that really quick. So the way to calculate this is you've got 14 feet by 8 plus 18 feet by 8 plus 16 feet by 8 plus 18 feet by 8. Or you could add 18 and 18 and have 36, right? Since you have 18 twice. And that comes out to 528 square feet. Therefore, 200 square feet per 1 gallon. Well, you can't do it with 2.5 gallons. So you're going to use 3 gallons. So that is correct. 67C. Oops. I mean, they have pints, right? However, they asked for how many gallons will it take? So you round it off to 3 gallons. Great. So only 2 individuals did the math or took a guess, right? All right, number 68. An investor just purchased a rectangular 2-acre retail lot. Okay, rectangular, has 4 sides, right? 2-acre retail lot for $250 a frontage foot. If she paid $100,000 total, what was the depth of the lot? So math formulas, right? If it's a rectangular, what do you have? Base times height? That's all I'm going to say. So you have to do some conversion, right? How many square feet in an acre? So if the property is 2 acres, it totals how many square feet? You've got to convert that to square feet. And there's 711 square feet per acre, right? So 711, why? I say 43,560. The first two numbers total 7, and the last three numbers 560 total 11. So that's how I figure out. I remember really quick. There's 43,560 square feet in 1 acre. Multiply that by 2, you come out with 87,120. And then it says you divide that. It says 200. So you divide 100,000 divided by $250. Okay. So you end up with 400 square feet of frontage. I mean, not square feet, 400 linear feet of frontage. Okay. Therefore, you're dividing 87,120 square feet, which is 2 acres. Divide that by 400, produces a length of 217.8. So let's see, I had an answer of B, so it is not B. The answer is D, okay? 218 feet. So you figure out the frontage. It says for a lot that's $250 a frontage foot, and it's a rectangle. So you have base times height, okay, equals 100,000. So the base is the frontage. Divide that by 250, right? You come up with 400. And then you divide that into the acreage in order to get the depth of the property, which is 217, rounded off to 218. If you have this book, it shows you the calculations in the book. Yes. All right, so Cindy said D, and I said D. So Anai, go back and review the calculation about, so you've got 100,000. Okay, you divide that by 250 because it says a foot of frontage. So when you divide 250 into 100,000, that's because you have a rectangle. So you have two equal lengths and two equal heights. Okay, base times height, length times height. So by dividing by 250 gives you 400 feet that's in the front. So now divide that into the 2 acres and you'll get the depth, right? Because it's in square feet. Length times width. The width is the front. So frontage means it's the portion of the property that faces the road. What are we on? 69. All right, that's not going to work. Well, maybe. Okay, number 69. Got it. All right, Anai. Now, Andra can afford to spend $5,000 in closing costs to refinance her home. Okay, refinance the home, $5,000 in closing costs. The lender quotes closing cost of $800 plus 2 points. The house appraised out at $240,000, and she can get an 80% loan. Can Anika afford to refinance? Okay, so she's only getting 80% loan, okay, of the appraised value. So I'll give you a moment to think about that. So it said, no, she is short $64. B, no, she is short by $1,600. C, yes, with $360 left over. Or D, yes, in fact, breaks even. I was almost going to type the we on? 69. Okay, so how do you calculate this, right? So she's getting a loan for $240,000, or it appraised for $240,000. Lender is loaning her 80%. So what is 80% of 240? Okay, so 80 times 240, that'll get, well, 240,000 times 0.8. Okay, that gives us 192,000. Okay, so the points on that 80% loan is 2. Okay, 2 points on the loan amount, which is 192,000. So you multiply what? 2 points times 192,000. And that gives us 3,840. Okay. And then it says Andra, okay, so she's being charged 2 points, 3,840. And the lender is also quoting $800. So $800 plus 308,040 will give us what? 4640, right? So that leaves us how much? $360 she has left over. So with the $5,000, she can afford, okay, to buy that property, and she'll have $360 left over. Very good, Cindy. And Tanya. Okay, number 70. A lender offers an investor a maximum 70% loan to value, LTV loan 70% loan to value on the appraised value of a property. If the investor pays $230,000 for the property, and this is 15% more than the appraised value, how much will the investor have to pay as a down payment? Okay, so the lender is, okay, A, 93,150, B, 79,350, C, 90,000, or D, 69,000. So investor is paying $230 for the property, and this is 15% more than the appraised value. Okay, so remember, lenders only pay a percentage of the appraised value. So you'll want to use the T formula, right, to find out what is the actual whole value. So the investor pays, if the investor pays $230, okay, that's the whole. What is the part? We have 15%. So it is 15% over the appraised value. So what is the appraised value? So 230, according to the T formula, they're using that as the part. 230 divided by 15%, because the actual property amount, 230, is 115% of the appraised value. Okay. So it's 230 divided by 115, or 200,000. Okay, and from that 200,000, the lender is loaning 70%. So you've got the difference between 230 and 200,000, that's 30,000. And then 30% of 200,000. And why am I doing it that way? Because the lender is only loaning 30%, okay? I mean 70% on the appraised value of 200,000. So the borrower has to bring in 30% of 200,000. Okay, that's 60, plus the 30%, 30,000 above gives us what? 90. How did you come up with 69? Okay, so 230,000 divided by 15% gives us 200,000. The lender loaned 70%. So what I did was I said, okay, buyer has to pay 30%. 30% of 200,000 is 60,000. Plus the 30,000 that the value of the property is above the appraised value. Okay, that's how the 90,000 comes up. Oh my gosh. And I typed D, wrong. Okay, I saw Cindy's answer and I typed that. The answer is C. So it's not D. Sorry about that. So I'm retyping the answer. So it is 90,000. That's how much the investor has to come up with. I can tell that most of you do not like math problems. Okay, the answer is 90,000, which is answer C. Okay, number 71. Let's see if I can do it a little bit larger. There we go. All right. A house, 71. A house is being appraised using the sales comparison approach, which is basically what we're going to do. The house has 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, and a patio. The appraiser selects a comparable house that has 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, and no patio. The comparable house just sold for 100,000. A half bath is valued at about 5,000 per the appraiser, and a patio about 1,000. Assuming all else is equal, what is the adjusted value of the comparable? Right? So the appraiser is going to add and subtract from what? The comparable properties, not from the subject property. Remember that. So so they have 1 extra bathroom, which is valued at 5,000. That's on the comparable, but the comparable doesn't have a patio, which the subject property does have. So what I will say is you're going to add and subtract from the comparables, not from the subject property. So is it 100,000, 104, 96, or 106? No, it is not B. The comparable is 5,000 higher, okay, and 1,000 lower. It doesn't have a patio, but it has a bath, right? So the comparable house just sold for 100,000. So we have to subtract from the comparable 5,000 because it has 1 more bathroom. And then we have to add 1,000 because it does not have a patio. So we add and subtract from the 100,000. So subtract 5,000 for the extra bathroom and subtract 1,000 for no patio. That leaves us with 96,000. Okay, did anybody get it? Carlos, Tanya, Lisbeth. All right, CCC, that's right, Cindy. So remember, on the appraisal comparables, and even when we would do comparables, we leave the sold property alone and we subtract and add to the comparables that sold. Got it? Remember that. Number 72. That's refreshing water. 72. A family purchased a 90,000 lot to build a custom home. At the date of closing, the lot was assessed at 84,550, and the tax rate was 1.91 per 100 assessed value. Right? Property tax assessed value. When they completed the home, the assessment increased by 235,000 to include the new construction. If the monthly tax escrow is based on the assessed value, what will the monthly tax escrow be? A, 517, B, 696, 6,096, C, 508, or D, 367. So the tax rate is $191 per $100 assessed valuation. So it says when they completed the home, the assessment increased by 235. So it was initially assessed at what for the land? 84,590, even though the individual paid 90,000, right? A lot of times we pay more than the assessed value. When the market is going down, it might pay less. So they paid less, they paid more than the assessed value. And then the assessed value increased by 235,000. Okay, to include the improvements, right? So land plus improvements equals the assessed value. So what do you do next? So what will the monthly tax escrow be? So that's what the lender is going to be charging, right? So they will charge, they will create a little savings account so that they can pay the taxes when they're due the following year. So they usually make an escrow for taxes and for insurance. No, it's not 367. So you've got 235 plus 84,550. That is the assessed value, right? So that equals 319,550. So then you divide that by 100 because we want to know how many thousands there are. Okay, so divide by 100 the assessed value. Okay, so we get 3,195.5 or 50 cents, rounded up to 31.96. So to derive the annual tax, we multiply that by 1.91. So that's the tax for the whole year. So they want the monthly tax escrow because the tax rate is done for the year, not for a month. Okay, so we calculate it for the whole year. So then we need to divide it by what? 12. So when we multiply 191 times 31.96, we get 6,104. We divide that by 12 months, and we get 508. So in addition to the principal and interest that borrower is going to pay, the bank is going to create a little escrow account, ask for $508 to pay the property taxes the following year. And they're probably going to ask for insurance escrow also. So the answer is C, 508. Yes, I already typed it on there. So you got it, Cindy, right? You were close. You might have missed something. You might have done only the 235, right? That would probably give you something close to maybe 367. Okay. Oh, I didn't type that. 72C. All right, number 73. My kitty cat keeps coming over and says, "Aren't you gonna feed me? It's past dinner time." I know, but I have the doggy here. So you gotta wait till after doggy leaves Bailey. All right, number 73. Well, let me do it a little bit larger. All right, 73. The James family purchased a home for $180,000 5 years ago and obtained an 80% loan to value. Now the property has appreciated 25%, pretty good in 5 years. In some markets, it was doing that every year. In addition, the loan has been paid down $11,000. What is the James current equity? What is James current equity in the home? So what is equity? Okay. So appreciation, equity, loan to value, vocabulary. So you have 180,000 purchased 5 years ago. And they got a loan of 80,000. So that means they put down 20%. So 20% of 180,000 is what? $36,000, right? But the property appreciated 25% in 5 years. So now the property is worth 125%, right? 100 plus 25%. So what is the new value of the property? So the book does it a little bit longer. They do, they paid down, the loan has been paid an additional $11,000. So the book says, okay, the net selling price, use the formula, gain equals net selling price minus the adjusted basis. Adjusted basis is the 25% increase, so it's 5% per year. The selling price is 240, so 180 times 1.25, right, gives us 240 plus 50%. Wait a minute, plus 50% times 240, or 240 times plus, I can't read the little bitty text. So anyway, like I said, so 20% of 180,000 was 36,000. So they put down plus 11,000 that they already paid in principal. So 36,000 plus 11,000, right? So far, that's 47,000. And then it appreciated, it appreciated 25% in 5 years. So that's 5% each year, or 25% of 180, 1.25 of 180, right? So since the land cannot be depreciated, so that they say the value of the land, okay, 5 years ago, and obtained an 80% loan to value. Now the property has appreciated 25%. In addition, the loan has been paid down 11. So what is the current equity? So they're saying that the loan, the land, since land cannot be depreciated. Okay, right. You don't depreciate land. The depreciated basis is 240,000 cost minus 60,000 land value. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm reading the wrong answer. So it's like I said, it's you can do 180,000 minus 36,000 because they put down 20% plus 11,000, that's 47,000. And then plus the equity from the appreciation of 25%. So the answer comes out to be 92,000. Did anybody get that? C. No. Okay, yeah. Tanya and Cindy got 73,000. So they did 180. Wow, the way they current value is 180 plus 25 times 180, correct? Okay, or 180,000 times 1.25, right? Because 125, you have 25% increase. That gives us 225. The current debt is 180,000 times 80. Well, I did it the easier way, multiplied by 30 and got 36,000 plus 11, and then the appreciation. So it totals to 92,000. They did it differently than I did. So S 73 is D. So if you have the book, go back and look at the answer. However, I did it a little bit easier way for me. So Tanya and Cindy got it. Okay. No, 45,000 doesn't get anywhere close to it, Anai, because you have to calculate the appreciated value, 180 times 1.25, okay, which they say calculates to 225,000, okay? And then they paid, and then they got a loan of 80%. So instead of multiplying 80% times 180 and subtracting the way they did, I just multiplied 20% times 180. So that's 36,000. So you could tell that it's not going to be 45, and it's not going to be A or C. When you multiply 20%, that's the down payment. That's 36,000 plus 11. That's already 47,000. That's not including the 25% it appreciated. So 5% every year of 125, right? And so that's when I did 125, what was it? 225 minus 180, because that's what it appreciated. Okay, that's going to be 45,000 there. So 47,000 plus 45,000 gives us 92,000. So the 40,000 you calculated was just the appreciated value. Okay, so you still needed to add the 20% they put down and the 11,000 that they've been paying down in 5 years through the principal payment. So it takes several steps to get that answer. And there's different ways to do it. There's, what do they say? There's one, nah, I'm not going to say it. There's more than one way to skin an animal. I'm not a hunter, but there are many people who do, and some hunt for food, right? And not just for fun. $74. George and Mary have owned a rental house for 10 years. They bought it for $240,000 and estimated the land value at 25%. Okay, 25% of 240. If the property is depreciated on a 39-year schedule and appreciation totals 50% over the period, what is their gain if they sell the property today? Okay, so they've had it for 10 years. They bought it for $240,000. Remember, we don't take depreciation for land. So bought it for $240,000, and the land is 25% of that. So 60 plus 60 plus 60 is 180,000, right? That's 25% times 3. That's how I figured out in my head. So the property they bought minus the land is 180,000. So that's what gets depreciated. So it depreciated, the property depreciated on a 39-year schedule. So they have to depreciate it for 10 years. And appreciation totals 50% over the period. Okay, so it depreciated and then it appreciated 50%. over that period. So 1.5 times 240, right? Because that's the appreciation of the whole property. But we have to subtract the land in order to depreciate it. Okay? So what would it be? One of the four, right? Hey, quit. That's my kitty cat. So you're going to depreciate it 10 years after you subtract the land. So after you subtract the land, it is 180,000. Right? Times 10 years for the depreciation. Okay. And then it depreciated 50%. So, man, that's a great appreciation in 10 years. Well, in some areas, yes. In some areas, not. Okay. So the formula on here was the gain, okay, was the net selling price adjusted basis. Were adjusted by beginning cost minus depreciation. So the selling price is 240,000 times 5% annually times 10 years. Okay. Because it said it appreciated 50%, right? So 5%, right, each year for 10 years. So it appreciated 50%. So that was a 240,000. Okay, or 240,000 plus. Yes, so that's 50% times 240,000. So 1.5 times 240. Or it comes out to 360,000 because you have to add the 240. So it appreciated half of 240. So that's what, 120. 120 plus, that's the 50% appreciation, plus 240, that's 360. Okay, so that's part of it. Since the land cannot be depreciated, I said the depreciable value was 60,000, right? So then we subtract from 360 the 60,000. So we're back to what, about 300. So it says, or 180, that's the land. So annual depreciation is 180 divided by 39 years, because you only want to depreciate the improvements, okay, of the original value, 240, not of the appreciated value, but of the current basis, okay? So annual depreciation is 180, which was 240 minus 60, okay, divided by 39 years, or 4,615. Thus, total depreciation is times 10 years, because that was per year. They divided it by 39 because it's going to depreciate 39 years. So you have to divide how much is it per year, 4,615. So the total depreciation is that times 10, which is 46,150. So then it says, what is their gain if they sell the property today? So the 46,150 plus 240,000, okay, or 193,850. The total gain is therefore 360,000. What was that, right? That was 240 plus 120 because it was appreciated 50,000. I mean 50%. So that's 1.5 times 240 gives us 360,000. Minus 193,850, which is the 240 minus the depreciation of 46,150. Okay, so it's kind of hard to follow if it's not in writing. So the answer is 166,150, which is B. You were right, Cindy. It just took me a while to explain it. And it's harder to explain when not done in writing. Okay. Or it's harder to follow me or follow someone trying to calculate the math for you verbally if it's not in writing. Okay. I forget one of those boards where I can write. So the answer is B, 166,150. You were correct, Cindy, with B. Okay, number 75. Adelpha's home is valued at $250,000. She has insurance coverage of $160,000. And when we're done, I'll go back and read your other comment, Cindy. I forgot to read the other comment that you had written. So she has insurance coverage of $160,000 with an 80% co-insurance clause. If Adelpha has a damage claim amounting to $100,000, how much will she receive from her policy? A, $32,000, B, $60,000, C, $80,000, or D, $100,000. So she has insurance. So the home is worth $250,000. She has insurance coverage of $160,000 with an 80% co-insurance clause. And the damage claim amounts to $100,000. How much will she receive? So she has what they call 80% replacement cost, not 100% replacement cost. So 80%, okay, so the property value, okay, divided by 80% times the claim equals the recovery. So divide the amount of coverage carried, which is 160. Okay, divide that by 80% of the insured property value, which is 250, to get the percent of the claim the company will pay. So they will pay 80%. Multiply the percentage by the claim amount to get 80,000, which is what the company will pay. So she didn't have 100% replacement cost. She only had 80%. And the property value is 250. So she was only covered for 160 and 80% of that. So she only receives 80,000, even though, so she's going to put 20,000. And I learned this from a client a friend whose home got burnt down and they didn't have 100% coverage. However, the loss of all the other personal stuff gave them enough money to rebuild the home and buy some furniture. So S75 is C. Yeah, math problems, it's best to write it down. Okay, that's why I learned pencil and paper, okay, instead of ink, because when it's in pencil, we can correct it, erase. Okay, I'm going to go back. So the answer was 80. So she got less because she only had 80% coverage out of 160,000. Okay, and the property was valued 250,000. Okay, so earlier you said lots of left. I did it wrong. I didn't do any division. I just figured out the loan to value of 70%, which is the investor's amount, subtracted the 2, got that difference. Okay, yes. All right, I'm going back to that. Okay, you all. So it sounds like, most of you are uncomfortable with math, which is typical. However, it's important for you to go and practice some math problems, okay? Or you can watch some videos from Prep Agent, okay, Joe Juder. And I think also Stu, one of his instructors, who's also a realtor that has been in the business for a long time, and he helps teach some of his classes. So there's different videos out there that go into explanation of the math. I don't focus a lot on doing that. I may end up doing some. Most people don't ask me to do math problems. They want to understand the questions and the answers more so than math. Get really uneasy with math, right? And I love math, but it's best to do it in writing. Okay. And when we're out of practice, okay, we also make mistakes. Okay. And I'm out of practice. So any questions? Tanya says, I hate math. Well, rephrase it and say, I love math. I love math. I love math. I love math. So that you can practice doing some problems. So one of the best formulas is the T formula, right? And so not all the books show it as the T formula. Just Google it. What is the T formula? But Joe Juder has a lot of really, that's Prep Agent, has a lot of really good videos on math. I only have one, I think, okay? So you can go to that video, but I forget what I included. So that's the last question for tonight. 25 every session. There's going to be 4 sessions of 25 questions a bit, preparing you for an actual exam, okay, that has a Texas and national. So if you have any questions, hey, send me a message on Messenger or here on YouTube. And remember, if you haven't been to my YouTube channel, hey, go to YouTube AgentPrep. Okay, I'm AgentPrep. Joe Juder is Prep Agent. He's been around a lot longer than I have. So go to YouTube AgentPrep. Okay, tap that subscribe button and the thumbs up. Okay, click the subscribe button while you're here. Quite a few of you were on YouTube. So send me some love and help me with my analytics, okay? And also click that little bell so you're first to get notified every time I go live. And you have any other real estate questions? I am a practicing realtor here in San Antonio in the Rio Grande Valley. And I'm also with EXP looking for realtors that might consider interviewing EXP. Okay, you all, see you Saturday. That's right. At what time? 10 o'clock. So what time? 10 o'clock. Or the other way around. 10 o'clock, right? I have to do it the opposite way. So see you Saturday at 10 o'clock. Until next time, catch y'all later. Bye. Love ya. You're welcome.